All right, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a great night, a great evening, and we are ready to rock and roll today. Looks like there's a lot of activity going on pre-market as opposed to what I saw the last couple of days or earlier this week. So a little bit excited about that. But here's my question for the morning. What is your why? We have to understand, we have to know what our why is. Our why is the reason we do what we do. And I'm relating this specifically to your trading. Why do you trade? Why do you get up every day and attack the market? It can't be just about money. Because if that was the case, it that's too shallow of a reason. So it has to go a little bit deeper than that. For me, it's my family. My family is why I do this. I made promises coming along that we were going to do certain things, that we were going to be in a certain place by a certain time, and it wasn't happening doing what I was doing. It just wasn't happening. And even though I had a vision, I wasn't activating my vision. I wasn't doing what I needed to do to activate it. You know how when you get a credit card in the mail or a debit card or whatever, you have to call that number and activate it. You have the card, you can put it in your wallet, but it's no good to you until you activate it. And that's the same, deal with your vision. If you don't activate it, it's just gonna still be a vision. You can believe in it, but you have to activate it. You have to start. And that's what we talked about yesterday. Start where you are with what you have. So now you really need to know why you're doing what you're doing, because that is what helps you get up when you get knocked down. And believe me, if you haven't felt it yet, trading is going to knock you down. It's going to knock you down several times. But that vision that you have, that belief in yourself, and knowing why you do what you do, keeping that in your forefront every day. So when you have a bad day and when things don't go so well in trading, you're going to be able to get back up. You're going to land on your back so that you could see, you could continue looking up, and then you'll be able to get up. So think about that. Think about what's your why. Why do you do what you do? You need to establish what that is. And whenever things get tough and whenever it gets challenging, you think about that. Why do you do what you do? All right, let's look at this massive list that we have today. It's growing by the minute. SFLY. Let's take a look at that real quick. Yeah, that's on earnings. We'll take a look at it. RL, Ralph Lauren. I know this one was taking a nosedive earlier. I heard about it. Oh, the CEO leaves, warns of charges. They beat third quarter profit forecast. Here's a classic example of a stock that has good earnings a positive earnings report, but because of everything that's happening, the CEO leaves. So there's something going on in there. It'd be interesting to find out. Let's see, CRUS. Yep, that's on earnings. My STML is too small. AMAG. Let's take a look at it. It's a positive drug test. Positive drug results. So that's always good for a biotech. So we'll look at it. I think had earnings as well. Nothing with the analysts. Oh no, it didn't have earnings. It's got some news. 5% jumps 5% on talk of sale, and CEO steps down. Whoa. Okay, that might be interesting. See, ACIA. Looks like I don't see any um, news on it. Okay, MJN. I don't see a catalyst, so I um, can't put it on my watch list without a catalyst. See, MJN. See, they're in buyout talks, so it's not actual buyout. They're just in talks, which could spark, some interest in it today. So we'll take a look at those. So let's start with a daily chart here. My charts are acting crazy here this morning. Give me a second. They're having some issues. Alright, so let's start with SFLY. Let's see, it's trading 42.26. I don't like that one. I don't see much in that right now, so I could skip that. Didn't like that chart. See, RL, and it made a nice recovery here. Alright, so it's trading around 81 bucks right now. So it's trading around 81. So I don't think we get much higher than that. So I'm going to look for all the price action below 81, which doesn't seem like much. See, I'm all the way back here in 2010, the last time we really traded around these levels. Yeah, it's not going to drop that far, I don't believe. I believe we're going to work within this, thinking we're going to work within this channel today, or in this area. So we've got some pretty nice windows here. So definitely we'll keep our L on watch. Alright, let's take a look at CRS. CRUS. Ah, that was a nice rejection right at 8 o'clock. Missed that. I'd have been working on a point by now. You know, sometimes going, you know, taking my son to school, I miss a lot of these pre-market moves that start, you know, right on time. So that was a nice one. So let's see what the daily looks like on CRUS. See what price were we at? 56.50. Alright. So we're down in this mess here. Blow it up some more. Looks like that might be the ceiling today. And we can work our way down. Alright, let's see what this looks like here. Oh yeah, we've got some nice action. We got a nice window down here to 55.24. Yep, nice windows. So CRUS, that's gonna make the cut. Let's see. AMAG. Let's take a look at the daily. I'm not too sure about this. I'm not too excited over the 5-minute chart. So let's take a look at the daily. 22, yeah, 22.35. Not so sure about this ticker today. Kind of looks crowded. Looking at this daily. Uh, this thing is lagging a little bit today. Alright. And we've got some 50-cent windows in here. That's not too bad. So we'll keep it on watch to see if it's going to work out or not. Now let's take a look at M. Yep, I like that. Let's see, where are we? 30, 40. So we're kind of trading in this range. Still trading in this range. Uh, 3018 is 3018 is the 20-day. Which may come into play here. But it does look rather promising. I mean, we don't see any activity, you know, till we go back to 2011, and then all of that's pretty covered up for the most part. So let's take a look. Yep, M is a nice chart as well. That looks pretty good. So just for the sake of argument, you know, MJN, that it's just they're just in talks right now. But no, I don't like this chart at all right now. So it's not going to make my watch list. That's not to say it won't come into play later on, but everything is just squeezed together right now, and I don't see much in it. So what I'm going to be watching into the open, RL, CRS, AMAG, and M. So let's go back to SFLY real quick. Take a look at this 5-minute chart. Well, actually, this one, nah, I didn't say. That one didn't make the cut. See, RL, yeah, it is trying to recover this gap. It's got half of it anyway. But I'm gonna be, you know, at the open, I'm gonna look to see, you know, where it sets up in relation to VWAP. That's really where I gauge the strength of these stocks, whether it's strong, and I'm gonna be looking for the long side, or if it's short, I'll be looking to to the short side. And then too, I'll be looking at the SPY to see where it is. So CRUS, RL just hasn't convinced me either way. So it can go either way as far as I'm concerned. CRUS is looking pretty decent for a short. But the spread is pretty wicked on this. You've got a 30-cent spread, which for me is untradeable. It's untradeable. But we'll keep an eye on that. Wow, right now it just went from 30 cents to 70 cents. Now we got a 70-cent spread. So with that spread, it is untradeable to me right now. Let's see, AMAG. Oh man, it's starting to wash. On this, I look for a pullback after the open. You know, possibly a test of VWAP to get short on it. I think this is going to be a short today. Not really sure how much we're going to get out of this. We do have these 50-cent windows or so that we can work in. So a $20 stock, you know, with a 300 share position, you know, 50 cents, that's 150 bucks. That's not bad, you know, max potential. So I'll definitely keep that one on watch here. And definitely if it's a 5-cent tick stock, I wouldn't trade it. That would eliminate it right off the bat. I didn't look at it and see. Hold on. Yeah, it looks like it's a 5-cent tick stock, so I'm not in on that one. Alright, so M looks pretty good. Looks like we made, you know, this one I'm gonna be looking at for the opening range breakout at the open. So M's definitely gonna be one of my main watches, along with RL and M. It looks like those are the two that have made the cut this morning. RL and M. So let me look at the scans again real quick. I haven't seen them. There was no news I saw on ACIA. Yeah, nothing new has hit. You know, MJN, I didn't like the 5-minute. SFLY, I didn't like the 5-minute. In pre-market, that's not to say they won't jump up on my trades for today. Because OKE yesterday, you know, it was one that I kind of dismissed in pre-market, but it jumped back up after the open. And that's what gave us that home run yesterday. So pretty happy about what we have here. NVO is not on my scan. Let me see if it's in on the main gapper scan here. It's on the main gapper scan, doesn't have enough volume yet. That's why it hasn't hit. It's got a 1.79 billion share float, but it doesn't have 50,000 shares yet, so it hasn't hit my scan. So for me, it's not in play until we get at least 50,000 shares of volume traded. You know, then It's not going to make my watch. Because my watch list, I'm building ideally for stocks that could potentially give us a strong opening range breakout move. That's the first, order of business. Now, some of these that hit our scans will pop up on my scan later on in the day, in which I will trade those. I'll trade it when it sets up, but until it does, I'm not going to look at it. Because what we have to do really is we have to filter through the noise. And if we're chasing every stock everybody posts or every stock we see on social media, we're going to have trouble focusing on what we need to do to be consistent and to be successful. So I learned early on that I had to work with blinders on. I don't care what other people look at. I have to focus on the stocks that are going to work with my strategy. And if I find that the stocks I get aren't working, then I need to expand and start looking at other things. But I spent hours and hours and hours back testing to make sure that the stocks that hit my scan give me the best opportunity for trades. And as you have seen in this last week and a half, the stocks I find do move. The problem comes with me not picking the right stock at open. That's where the problem comes in. So if we have 3 on our watch list, all I can do is watch the price action and try to pick the best out of the 3. But when that doesn't happen, when I pick the best one I think and it kind of turns into a dud, and the other one that looked like a dud at open works, it's frustrating sometimes, but I feel good because I know that I'm in the right area, that I have a 1 in 3 chance now of hitting the right stock. Because you can look at this list, look at this scan, and look at this scan. Which one would you rather vet every morning? I'd rather vet this one. And if this scan gives me enough hits to build my watch list, I could care less what's over here. That's the way you have to be. Gotta filter this noise out. Alright, so that's gonna be it for my watch list this morning. RL and M both are gonna be on my watch list. So let's see, RL should be having earnings came out this morning. We should be having a conference call here pretty soon. I think it's gonna be, is it at 9? Okay, Tom, yeah, 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock is when their conference call will be. So we are losing. We are losing a little bit here. Don't know if it's a good idea to short into the conference call or not. May not be such a good idea. Even though I wish I would have caught this on the rejection here. of the 20 moving average on the 5-minute, but I didn't. That would have been a nice $2 move. Yeah, at least it stayed up there for 30 seconds. At least they're getting a little bit slow on their reaction time there. All right, guys, so I'm gonna sign off of um, YouTube here. So you guys that are leaving me, I hope you have a good day. Stay green. Remember to trade for skill, not for money. And remember, I will not be here tomorrow morning. I won't be able to do my watch list bill. I have a guidance meeting. You know, it's exciting times. We're registering our son for high school, so that's gonna be an exciting time. So I'll be doing that in the morning, but I will be back in chat a little bit after 10, probably about 30 minutes after the market opens. I'll be in, and we'll be looking for the secondary moves. But I won't be doing my pre-market show in the morning, so I will be back Monday morning with it. All right, so you guys have a great day and a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday morning.